Hey guys, this is Shawn Sanders. Thanks so much for clicking onto my channel. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see, and tell a friend. So today is about love and marriage. So this is the third time I am recording this, and I keep getting interrupted. I'm at my office and it is late in the afternoon, so it is extremely busy right now. The few times that I have taped in the office, no one's here because it's early in the morning. So this is about love and marriage. So I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about today, and I've already talked twice, so I'm going to try to keep my thoughts together without rambling. So I have been married, it'll be 22 years next month. I got married on Valentine's Day in 1994, and I have known my husband for 28 years. We were very young when we met each other. We met each other right after tech school in the military, and he went on and had his life and did his thing, and I went on and did my thing, and we met up in a few years later, and from there was our friendship, and it then moved into a romantic thing, and we got married. So it's been 22 years later, and I was going to also address Smoke Break 314. Hey, Smoke Break. And I was on her Periscope. If you guys have not checked her out, she's a young lady from St. Louis, and she has a great YouTube channel, The Diva Plan, and check her out. She is also on on Periscope, Smoke Break 314. I really like her, and thank you so much for checking out my video. I appreciate you. And the topic was going on, there was a couple of different topics, but something had gone on regarding I guess two other YouTubers, and talking about interracial dating. And from what I mentioned in my previous video, my husband is not African American, so I told her I would address it. And you know, I don't have a great profound answer. I always refer back to En Vogue. We're on the video Free Your Mind, and she says, I may date another race or color, but that doesn't mean I don't like my strong black brother. And that's how I feel. I mean, I was young and in the military, and I dated a lot of people. I'm from New York City, and my mother didn't frown upon me meeting people of different racial backgrounds. I did not exclusively date outside my race. I wasn't looking to exclusively date outside my race. I just happened to meet someone and had a friendship with someone, and that organically blossomed into a romance. So I do know that there are people out there that have a preference, and that's great. But I love love, and I believe you know, find who you like and what you like. And I don't make any apologies for my spouse or the choice of spouse I made. He was a good fit for me, and we're going 22 years strong, so I think I made a good choice. And I mean, I don't have a profound answer, but you know, that's my view. So I know it was a lot going on Periscope, but I told Smoke Break I would address it. So there you have it. But I had mentioned on a previous video, you know, questions that people ask about marriage. And one question I always get is, you know, what advice would you give somebody who's getting married? And what do you think is a good recipe to maintain a good marriage? Now, I'll tell you, I'm around a lot of other older couples who have been married a lot longer than I am. So I still think I'm the baby on the block. And I'm constantly asking people who have been married for 35, 40, 50 years what their recipe is for a good marriage. So I'll just tell you what I've learned by my own journey of marriage. And the first question is what advice I would give someone getting married. I've given this advice over and over again, so I think it's a good one. And I would say if you plan your marriage the way people plan weddings, I think you will have a good start to a successful marriage. And I know a lot of people put a lot of emphasis and efforts into a wedding because it's important to a lot of people. Everyone, especially women, put so much time and energy, from the color palette to the dress and the food and the place settings and the theme and all of that, and all these little details to make it a perfect day. Well, I was more interested in having a perfect lifetime with my future spouse. So I think if we put that much energy into our marriage, the way we take care of the details in a wedding, I think you will be unstoppable in your relationship. Doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but I think a lot of people put a lot more time and energy into the wedding that only lasts for a few hours and don't put that energy and time into their marriage. So that's my answer to that. And what do you do to maintain a successful marriage? Well, I guess you have to define what success is. And it's not necessarily because you've been married for a long time. I know a lot of people have been married for a long time and very unhappy. So I think you have to define what success is for you. I think I have a pretty good marriage, and when you're with anyone, there's highs and lows. We've had times in our marriage that was extremely trying, times in our marriage that we both kind of just didn't know where things were going to go. So I think, and I can only answer for me, I think a good recipe is to have the same core values, because those are the things that are going to be the glue to your relationship when you have those trials and challenges in your marriage. And respect, communication. I think all those things are great recipes, great building blocks for marriage. And know that I have never came from a place that marriage is 50-50. I think you both come in going at it 100%. And then you also have to know, which I think a lot of people don't tell young married couples, is that there are going to be times in your marriage where you may be pulling the weight more than your spouse, and vice versa. That there are going to be times in your marriage, either because of necessity or because of situations, you may be pulling the weight more, or your spouse might be pulling the weight more. And I think that's important, because in those trials and tribulations, there is going to be someone that's going to be doing the heavy lifting, whether it's emotional or financial. And then, have that foundation of having those core values, that you're both moving in the same direction, that those are the things that are going to get you through your crisis, through those bumps in the road of marriage. I have a unique situation where I work with my husband. He is also my business partner. And so the same things that are required into a business partnership, minus the intimacy, is also required in a marriage. Mutual respect, knowing each other's, boundaries. I think that's important. We all have no deal breakers for ourselves, respecting who each other are coming into the marriage. I think all those things are important. I let him be who he is, and he lets me be who I am, and we respect who we are as people, and that has helped us maintain a good marriage. And I think another thing that I know from myself, and I can only answer for me, is that you have to know what you're willing to allow in your marriage. And of course, you can look at couples and see qualities about their marriage and see if that works for you. But I think you also have to know that what works in someone else's marriage is not going to necessarily translate in your own. And I think a lot of people kind of are misled by that. Now, for myself, the survival of my marriage was that I am not someone who goes and talks about my marriage to family members. I'm very protective of my marriage and very protective of my husband, and he is with me. And so one of the biggest rules in our marriage is that, if anything's going on, family members are not who we confide in. Talk to your pastor, talk to your priest, but don't talk to family members, because, nature has it that people take sides, and I never want those types of situations to be created that would put a wedge. So that has been something I believe that has been the survival of our marriage. And we give each other a lot of breathing room, because we do work together, and he has his things that he does and I have my things that I do, and then we can come back together as a couple. So that is the information, and hopefully some tips for someone who's embarking on a marriage. No marriage is perfect. I think if you can find somebody who you're compatible with and are ever growing together to keep the union together, I think you will be in a good place to have a long-standing relationship marriage. So I got married really young, which I do not recommend, but I will say that I also didn't have a blueprint about marriage. I did not see successful marriages in my family. The first wedding I ever went to was my own. So I knew what I didn't want in a marriage. And since I knew what I didn't want, I built around that. So it's worked for me so far. And it's not easy. It's not easy. There are going to be many times, know that you're going to roll up your sleeves and you're going to have to do work to maintain and nurture the marriage. And know that your needs are important and that person's needs are important, and you have to voice those needs so that they work for everyone. So that's all I have to say about marriage. It's no small task. I've only been married once, and I've always said I would never marry again because it's hard work. So that's all I have. So Jumpstart January, we are on the 12th, not even halfway done. All right, well, that's all I have. Take care of yourself and each other. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.